Hi guys, my name is Adam Glass. I'm a personal trainer. On behalf of Fit Body Bootcamp, I'm going to try to bring you some information that I hope will make you feel better. Now, before we get going and before we really get into talking about foot pain, pain in the toes, pain in the heel, pain in the bottom of the foot and top of the foot, I want you to know I'm not a podiatrist, I am not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist. So if you are having acute pain right now, especially if it just recently developed, please go see a health professional, have them take a look at you, get their prescription of whatever they think they can do for you. Start with that first. Let's make sure that what may be a simple to resolve situation is not actually a much more serious problem. So with that said, if you've already spoken to your doctor, if you already have been given some, everyone has a particular name for a particular pain issue, but all pain issues have the same things in common. Number one, they impact what you can do, and number two, they don't just go away, right? You can't just sit around more and make it go away. That is not what pain tells us to do. Pain is a signal to do something different. So what I'm going to show you are a couple things that are very, very simple, that if you will actually do them day in, day out, and follow the signals your body gives you, you will dramatically reduce the pain in your feet. Now, first one is, it's very hard to resolve a pain situation when a person is stuck in a scenario where they continuously provoke it. So if you have pain in your feet, one of the very first things we need to do is we need to take a look at, number one, what seems to make it the worst? Number two, what seems to make it feel the best? And number three, when does it seem to be the most active? So for some people, they experience the most severe pain right when they're waking up trying to get out of bed. You'll hear people tell you that they experience extreme tightness, cramping, stabbing sensations in the morning. It gets better in the day. You'll talk to other people and they may experience no problems in the morning, and then towards the evening they're getting progressively more and more pain. Now, those people could spend a lot of time going to different professionals to get a name put on the situation. And in the interim time, they may be hurting themselves literally every step of the way because they insist on wearing footwear that's no good for them, or they insist on doing a particular activity that's no good for them. All right? So if you have to change something today, I can't tell you if it's going to be a semi-permanent change or a fairly permanent change. But what I will tell you is this: if you change nothing, your pain situation will continue. I promise. I promise it will continue. If you'll start to do things differently, you will finally have leverage to change some things. So with that said, let's take a look at some of the suggestions. So the first thing we're going to do before we can talk about resolving this pain issue is let's take a look at what our feet can actually do. So the feet are very mobile. There's a lot of motions that are happening in our feet, in our ankle, and in our knee, and that's a good thing. If you had fewer motions available, you would have more issues. For some of you, you may be experiencing pain right now because you've lost range of motion in those. So let's look at what our feet can do. Our toes can flex and extend. So I want you to look at your feet and you can move your toes forward and backwards. Now the other thing your feet can do is your feet can torsion. You can bring your toes down and your big toe up, and put your big toe down and bring your toes up. So it's with your hands it looks like this. With your feet it looks like that. So can you make your foot torsion? Can you flex your toes? Can you extend your toes? Our big toe can move back and forward. It has the ability to abduct. It can wiggle. Throughout the midfoot, there are degrees of bend. So we see some degrees of bend and flex in the foot. How much bend and flex do you feel in your foot? When you actually put your hands on your feet, will they move around, or does it feel like you're squeezing a brick? At your ankle, our ankles have four motions. Our ankles plantar flex, we come up on the balls of our feet. Our ankles dorsiflex, and that's where the feet are moving towards the face. It also looks like for dorsiflexion, if the heel stays flat when the knee starts to come in front of the toe, this is dorsiflexion. If your feet stay flat and you plantar flex, is, so if I move backwards, if I make the angle this way, that's plantar flexion of flat feet. We have 4 motions. Our knees can flex and extend, flex and extend. They also can rotate. We see rotation at our fibula. This bone moves. So first thing I need you to do, can you do all of these motions? Can you flex your toes? Can you extend your toes? Can you torsion your foot in both directions? Can you do that when your plantar flexed? Can you do it when your dorsiflexed? Our ankles invert and they evert. The blades of the foot can come up. The big toe and the heel can come up. Those motions are important. Now, what I'm going to have you do for practicality is this. I need you to start moving your feet around a lot more. And I don't mean go run. The problem with go run is that you're doing the same thing thousands of times in a row. All right, so even if it doesn't hurt to run, for most people, the way that they insist on running, they begin to develop pain over time. The problem is not the running. The problem is not their shoes. The problem is not the concrete. The problem is they insist on doing it the same way over and over and over. So what I want you to start with is going to be 2 very simple warm-ups. Our first warm-up we're going to do is going to be a simple walking exercise. Now, before we begin, I need you to understand, if it hurts, do not do it in a way that it hurts. If you cannot do one of these particular steps pain-free, then don't do it today. Now, that doesn't mean don't do it ever. You may not be able to do it today because of pain, but maybe tomorrow you can. I need you to keep looking at it. All right, I want you to put your eyes on what are my available solutions, not stay focused on my foot hurts or my heel hurts or my ankle hurts. Let's work the solution rather than focus on the problem. The first thing is going to be walking with your feet and ankles in different positions. Now here's the one that most of you are very familiar with. You're on the ball of your foot and you're stepping, right? You can do this in high heels. So here's the first question. Can you do the opposite of that? If you lift your foot, how well can you step on your heels? See how I'm trying to move my knee? It looks pretty silly, right? This isn't normally how you would be walking around. We're trying to see, can I do something different? What's another version of this? What if I go on the blades of my feet and I move through this? New positions become available. What if I work on the inside, going through here, right? I'm trying to move as many positions as I can. What if I add rotation through either of those joints? I can turn both my feet this way and stay focused. Working in there, just a few steps. What if I go the other way? Is this too simple for you to try out? That's what I need you to ask. Can I walk through these different positions? Now for many of you, you're going to feel the musculature of your feet, of your shins, maybe throughout your leg and your hip will be on fire as you walk around this way. It's a key thing that we keep training the opposite pieces of what is currently in pain. This is your starting step.